Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I was told that you are in how many of your here? 31. 10 are from outside the state of Mizoram.
Yes, sir.
How many of them are from your hands? Assam? Assam. From which part of Assam? Assam?
I'm doing my PhD in Arunachal University, but I'm from Assam, Sarai district.
Sarai, upper. Nearby Tezpur?
No, sir. Sipsagar.
Sipsagar. Okay. Any other places? Assam? I just wanted to know. You're from?
I'm from Assam University, but my hometown is in Haflong, Dima Hasao.
From Dima Hasao. How is the road, Dima Hasao? Good.
Going on it.
On the way to. Somebody told just now, I have been to Guwahati. They said instead of going via Shillong, better to take Haflong road for going to Guwahati. The road is much better. Otherwise, this Kalain road is not good. Very not good. Not very good. You are also from Assam? Many are from Assam. Other than Assam, how many of you from outside of Mizoram? Nagaland. From which district? How or you are how or what? Because we have a lot of students, not only from Assam, but also from Nagaland also. I had one student. Her name is Bedan Illa Ao. She stays in Dimapur. Now she is the project officer in IIM Shillong. Nagaland, how many of you are? I just wanted to, before we start the deliberation, because classes continues. Will continue whole time we have to study. But at the same time, classes should be interactive and we need to know each other before we start. Otherwise, academics goes on till the end of our life. It should not be boring. Okay. One is from Nagaland. And anyone from Nagaland? Any others? Dimapur. All are from Dimapur. Nagaland University.
No, St. Joseph.
Any others from Nagaland? You are from which state? From Manipur. From where? From which university? Manipur University.
No, here it's a Mizoram University.
What is your good name?
Nazar Peter.
Nazir Peter.
Yes, sir.
From which district?
Sanabati district.
I am also, fortunately or unfortunately, I am also from Manipur. I have been here since last 17 years. I joined here in 2008 as a reader in Department of Management. My background basically is from commerce. Okay, but I was there in Assam University also. Difu, anyone from Difu? No one. Assam University.
I know.
Difu campus.
We know, but
You have been there? Difu? Karbi?
yeah. Kokrajhar.
You have been there.
I'm a Karbi.
You are a Karbi. What is your name?
Stephen.
Stephen what?
Jang Ronghi.
Ronggi. Rongpi.
Yeah, we are same clan.
Any Bodo here? Bodo? No. And maximum are from MJDU. MJDU scholars.
Sir, here we have our friend from West Bengal.
West Bengal. I just talked to her. I just talked to her outside. See, the good thing about having programs like this, national level, the good thing is all about, not only about academics, but it's about, I totally feel that it is about national integration. You will come across so many people. During COVID and all, we attended or we participated so many programs, mostly through online. In online, what happens, you don't know. I'm talking and I don't know who are listening to me. Some may be opening their system, go outside, tea, put it on, just close the this thing, mute, and then the camera off. Who knows? But the good thing about physical, program is that apart from, knowledge, academics, you enhance your context. You come in touch, talk, meet with different people from all over the country. Okay, that way you enhance your personality. Personality is very important, PD. In management, what we do, we emphasize on personality development. At the end of the day, when you go and, give an interview, whatever you have learned throughout your life, up to master's level or PhD, your faith of getting a job, getting an assistant professor's job or not, is decided in only about 10 to 15 minutes. Say suppose you are preparing for an assistant professor's job, first of all you will be asked, there will be around 7-8 persons. You will be given a chalk or otherwise a marker. There will be a whiteboard, and then you will be asked upon to give lecture. 5 minutes. So your future lies, how you give presentation within 5 minutes on a topic which is very easy for you. But from there only you will be started asking questions. Why this, why that? So it is all about equipping yourself, how to improve your personality. Here you will find teachers, some of the teachers, resource persons standing here giving you lectures. Okay. So in my opinion, I should walk nearby. Some may be feeling sleepy or something if it is after lunch. Then we need to keep, to give the lecture standing here also. Somebody who is feeling sleepy, just stand nearby. If he is a boy, I can just like this. If it is a girl, I cannot do that. Mind you. Okay. But then that will create an environment of, togetherness as well as active. When your brain is active, then you listen and then you have a lot of interesting, ideas. So let us proceed. I think most of you are undergoing PhD. Anyone who has not got any admission or something else? How many of you are GRF? Show me your hands. GRF, one is there. Two. Show your hands. Because they are getting money. They will not ask you for any cup of tea or something else. GRF, you are from Aizawl? From Manipur. Okay. Well, from which stream? Social work department. But you are a scholar of MZD only. Okay. You are doing PhD under whose guidance? Henry. Pachao. Yes, good. Any net? How many of you are net? Okay. And then how many of you are SLEP? 1, 2. Okay, once you get admission in the PhD program, then it is all the same. It is about getting a little bit money or not. And if you are working in Central University, you will be getting around 8,000 per month. That is non-net fellowship. And per annum, you will be getting 10,000. What is that? Contingency.
8,000.
8,000 for social sciences. 10,000 for science.
Please read.
Huh? Just imagine state universities. Like there is one lady who is doing PhD in North Bengal University. They don't have any scholarship. State universities. Which one? St. Joseph is a state private university.
No sir, we get Swami Vivekananda scholarship 8,000 per month. But
It is sponsored by whom?
um,
Not
it
all
is
the.
released from headquarters are in Kolkata. I don't
No,
know.
you see, all the scholars are not privileged to get that, scholarship. Okay, but if you are studying in Central University,
Yes.
then you are entitled to rupees 8,000 non-net fellowship. That is the.
So in that case, then why not you everyone and increase the amount also to everyone?
No, we need to talk to the Ministry of Education. We need to talk.
It's been many years.
Yeah.
Limitation.
At one point of time, even that scholarship was supposed to be withdrawn. No, still you have the option to increase. You have to perform well in the exam. GRF. And if it is, there is also another one. Recently, I came to know IITs. They got admission through get some subjects like philosophy, economics, English, psychology, political science. You have to get exam. If you get through, they will get scholarship equivalent to GRF. But you will have to do PhD in IITs. What is also offering that. And you get fellowship of around 37,000 per month. So you have already enrolled in some other universities, but if you have any friends or relatives, try to motivate them to get exam. It is conducted once a year. GATE, G-A-T-E, GATE. It was last exam was conducted by IIT Roorkee. So that's it. Today I'm coming up with. Okay. Doesn't have Here, most of you by now must be acquainted with two types of data. Okay, one is secondary data and primary data. And then another one, qualitative data and quantitative data. How many of you are familiar with using SPSS? You have to ask the organizers to give you a soft copy, even if it is a pirated one also. I will not say officially, but then you have to download it, ask them, and start using it. I think any program which we conduct, any resource persons are coming for this SPSS.
Yesterday we had
He gave alternative one.
SPSS is more convenient. I don't know.
Yes, sir, but the thing we learned yesterday was an open source.
Okay. SPSS also there are so many versions. By now we might have gone to 25, 27 somewhere. But 21, 22 around you can get it. I think that way you have to frequently use it, learn it. Because when you collect data, you will be collecting two sorts of data. Primary data. What is primary data? The data you get it from the source by yourself, first hand, raw data. Okay, like field survey. Another one, you can get it through others. Data which has been already been in the public domain. Okay. But just a background, what you are going to do, you will be getting a lot of data, raw data. No study is confined to only one set of data. You will be using both primary as well as secondary data. At the same time also, you will be using qualitative data, at the same time quantitative data. What is qualitative data? Which are not in numbers, where you cannot give numbers, like happiness, anxiety, color. Okay? But when you do analysis, all these qualitative data, you have to give numbers also, coding. You have to do coding. Like very happy, number 1, not happy, number 2. Likewise, because you have to enter in the system, you have to enter in the computer and do the analysis. Okay? So all these things, what we are doing it is statistics. It is about statistics. What is statistics? It is a way of how you collect data, organize, present, analyze, and make your recommendations or predictions. Okay? That is statistics. In another sort, why we do this research? Because we want to see the trend. We want to do it. Why we want to do it? Because we want to predict also. Like summer, it may be raining. Winter, there will be. Anyone from Arunachal? Anyone from Arunachal? No. Like suppose you go to Namsai, you go to Zero, or you go to Tawang. Tawang by now it must be very snowfalls must be there. And if you go, you cannot drive cars or something. If you drive, there will be a lot of problems. There, what they do, they put on iron chains on the wheels of your car. Then only you will be able to drive. Why I am saying this? Because predictions, even the weather forecast also, these are all predictions based on the data which they have in their knowledge or in the database. So, so what we are all going to do is about statistics. Okay. Even the statistics also there is limitations. Statistics, what we are going to do, it has also limitations. What we are going to do, we cannot study the whole population. You know population? Say for example, Mizoram University, we may be having around 3,500 students. We cannot include all the students. Because if we include the whole population, it will be called as population study, population, like general census. That requires a lot of money. That requires a lot of manpower. Time is also required. But for a student, you cannot include the whole population. Then what we do sampling. What is that sampling? Sample is something like it will represent the whole population. So there lies the sampling technique also. Today I will not be going through that sampling technique. What I am going to do is that the data you have collected, how you make presentations. Tabulation. Tabulation means in the tabular form. Okay, easy to understand. and easy to analyze, easy to predict. There is nothing but tabulation. All the data you have collected, it will be presented in such a form that it is easily understandable, elaborative, exhaustive, and no repetition. Okay. So statistics, as usual, it has its own limitations because it studies a group. Say, for example, science student, here we are having only the social science. Okay, most of us, I think all of us are from social science, right? Do we have any student from the physical science or this life science? They do have this research methodology. Statistics also they do, but their sample is only one. They study only one animal. Because, why? Because they don't do the sampling. Because their sample is homogeneous. Cat is only one. Whether it is in America or it is in London, cat is only one. So they do research on only one sample. They don't do the sampling. Because the sample they have cat or one leaf, or piece, one piece. Because that is homogeneous. You know homogeneous? Similar. Same criteria. But in social science, science people, general science, what do? They do only one. But in social science, what happened? We encountered so many, samples, so many different. Even among the students also, we found very, heterogeneity, means different. Some is tall, dark, fair, thin. Someone is from Assam, someone is from Nagaland. Income level, educational level, SLAB, NET, GRF, all are different. Okay, so here lies the limitation of statistics as well as the characteristics that in statistics we are going to study not an individual, we are going to study a group. The findings of it may be not applicable to some, may be applicable to another. Okay, it has its own limitations, right? So, as I said, statistics is all about data, collection of data, classifying the data, test the hypothesis, formulate policies, and take inferences. Inferences means you take inference, you predict it is applicable to you, then it may be applicable to them also. Okay. Now comes collection of data. As I said, we have two forms of data. When you do the research, you will be finding two data. One is secondary data, another one is primary data. Has any one of you started collecting data? How many of you have completed collection of data?
Not completed, but ongoing.
In the process?
Yeah, in the process.
Have you designed the schedule?
Yes, questionnaire, yes, group FGD I have conducted. Yeah.
And then you have done pilot study?
Yes, sir.
Pilot study you
Yes,
have done.
In my dissertation, master's, because I belong to anthropology, sir.
Yes.
There only field work and then
Your study
participant
is
observation.
concerning with people.
Yes.
Anthropology is nothing but study of origin or people. People only. Commerce is all about
Money.
economics. History. Anyone from history? What is your primary source of data? Tell me. Very interesting. You will be very interesting to know. We say that primary source is something where you collect it by yourself. You are from which subject?
Social work.
Social work. It's all right. You study about people. What about you? Social work. Okay. Now let us see what he replies in history. As we said it is primary source means you go and collect data. How do you collect primary data? In history. See, in history, primary source of data, what do they think? They think means in their subject, primary means manuscripts. Manuscripts, even though it is in the published format. We say primary data is unpublished. But in case of history as a subject, they treat like manuscripts, written one, handwritten, not the type one. Those things they treat it as primary source of data. So that is why what do? They go to museums, library, old manuscript, old, very old. And they consider history as a subject, they consider it as primary source of data. For others like anthropology or social work, we go to the field, you meet the Gauburas. You know Gaubura? Gaubura? No, I'm asking to her. I just wanted to know whether she knows it, she understands it or not. Gaubura. You tell?
Village headman.
Village headman. Gao means village.
Chief, village chief.
Gaon, yeah. Gaon, yeah.
Gaubura.
Gaon ka buda.
What means elder? So secondary data are published format. Okay. Primary data, direct personal investigation, interview, observation, particularly going and meeting people and collect data. Okay. That is primary. So before you finalize your questionnaire, or for that matter, before you finalize your topic also, you need to understand whether you are good in meeting people, whether you have time and energy to go and visit many different places, or otherwise, I don't want to go, I want to stay in the room and do the research. You decide by yourself. If it is about you want to roam, because many of our students in Mizoram, what happened, we have around how many districts? 9 or 8 districts? 12? 11. So all these districts, we have to go. Okay, in all districts. So boys, what do? They engage YMA people for collection of data. Or sometimes they go. And where do they stay? In the interior, Mamid or Selchip or Longklai, they go. There is no hotel, nowhere to stay. But YMA, Secretary or President, they will go to their house. They will say, I'm coming from MZU, I want to do the study. And the Secretary President, they will allow him. And they will give him VIP treatment. Eating, pudding, staying, everything. And when they do complete the data collection, at a time they will, the boy will think like, he need to give some money also. So he will try to give some money, and the YME president or the local VC or something, they will deny also. They say, oh, no. But that type of data collection going here and there, interiors of villages, are you able to do that? Can you do that? Because some students, they are very shy also. They don't want to go. Or otherwise, if you let it be collected through somebody else, the very motive of data collection, direct interview, if you do it by yourself, you come to know so many things. If you let it done by somebody else, then you will be missing so many parts. So from now onwards you decide, or otherwise you don't want to meet people, so concentrate your work in the secondary data. Secondary data, doing research in secondary data, you can do for the wider perspective, all India level. International level also you can do. If you are from finance, then you can do research in Nifty, Sensex, stock market, through data only. You sit and run a computer software and you collect all the data. And you run a computer program, generate data, and do the analysis. You don't have to go here and there meeting unnecessary people. No need to go and meet. Simply you have to know how to run those computer programs. Otherwise, suppose you want to do studies on population, census report, or otherwise in Mizoram there is statistical abstracts. It is produced by, printed by Department of Statistics and Economics and Statistics. There is one department, every state has. And they produce the whole data, particularly relating to socio-economic data. And take those reports, take for 10 years, record it in the SPSS and run the program. You will have so many data. In such a case, if you are doing it in the secondary data, no need to go. Because going and meeting people, it needs money also. For some boys, it may be very easy. But for the girls, suppose you take the example of yes, any one of you, all of you have finalized your topics. What is your topic?
Underfund mortality and its determinants.
What is that?
Underfund mortality.
Deaths
of children under 5 years.
Under 5 years mortality. Okay. That is population studies. Then you are not going for the this thing, primary data.
So I will use both primary and secondary.
If it is what are the districts of Assam? You will do?
So
Is it
sampling
district?
districts.
Huh? Sampling.
Districts. So from Upper Assam one district to Lower Assam one.
How many districts? There are 3 districts.
Yes, 3.
Mortality data you will find it from the census. But census, we have latest census is only 2011. But there will be data on NSSO also. What is that?
National Family Health Survey.
Okay, okay. One NSSO is also there, National Sample Survey Organization. They do have data also. You have to check. But if this mortality is there, you don't have to go for the primary data. Because primary data for you, it will be difficult for going here and there. Your study can be confined to only secondary data because you have the data. It is published by your organization and then this NSSO also. Likewise, you have to think about the availability of data. Because if you have to go to Longklai, anyone from Longklai? Anyone? Sensitive? Saiha? A lot of you from Aizawl over. You are from Aizawl? Suppose you are studying here in MZU and if you select a district called Saiha or Longklai, going there itself is a big problem. Particularly in the rainy days, it becomes more difficult. Okay. So raw data collected, there is the primary data collected. Generally, they are of very voluminous. From one sample only, you have to, take so many questions. In one schedule, you may be having around 40-45 number of questions. And in all the PhD, Viva and all, maximum of the questions will be asked from the methodology part. how you select this? Is it random sampling, non-random? So there are two sources, one is primary, another one is secondary, and that is not the end. After that, data processing. Data you have collected, whether it is, if it is secondary, then it is a little bit easy. If it is primary data, then you have to do data processing. Okay, what is data processing? First one is editing. After collection of data, editing, coding, classification, and tabulation. Okay, one is editing. Whatever data you have collected, particularly in the primary. Suppose sometimes you are not there at the time of collection of data. You are interested in with somebody else. In that case, particularly, you have to do seriously, starting from data editing. Otherwise, people may say that the data you have collected is wrong, manipulated. But you know what is manipulation? Not genuine. You sit here and you fill up the questionnaire. Many people does that. But it can be easily found out. Because all data at the time of doing the analysis part, you will be doing the validity test. Okay. That time if you do some manipulation, then it can be easily found out. All your analysis, the results will go wrong. And that too when? At the time of submission of your thesis, you come to know that reliability test and then validity test, if you run, then it will be very difficult. So what is editing? What do you mean by editing? It is not about you enter the data. Data you have already collected. You need to see the schedule or the questionnaire, whether there is any missing column. Okay. Some you will find also, even if you did it by yourself, some column may be missing. Or otherwise, instead of putting 1, you have put it as 3. But there is no code called 3. Suppose gender. In gender, what you do? 1 male, 2 female. Nowadays you have to put 3 also. Neither in between. Okay. So 3, 1, 2, 3 coding you have to give. Suppose if you have given 4, then you are confused. What is 4? So here comes the editing part. If you have collected it by yourself, what happens? You will remember. What is his name? Where had I been? Address you will check. Then you will come to know this is Ramlun. Okay, Ramlun, where did I visit? Then whom I visited. I may recollect. So such type of things, it is called editing. Okay, because data, when you collect it, you will find so many such type of missing or otherwise. Some questions are not answered. And some of the respondents may be reluctant to give answers also. Suppose in our field, suppose it is related to with sales. Many of the entrepreneurs or the persons doing business, they are very reluctant to give us the actual figure of sales or otherwise income also. Exact figure they will not tell. So when we collect data on income, we cannot take the exact income. We need to ask very delicately, very appropriately, otherwise they may feel offended. So all these, data, you have to do editing. Okay? It is not application of your own idea. It is about recollecting. When you do some interview, you will remember. Sometimes you need not ask direct questions. Some questions, maybe, if you ask directly, they feel very offended. Particularly if it is related with money. Suppose if I ask, do you have bank loan? How much you have taken loan? Did you pay any bribe? So such type of questions, even if it is there in the questionnaire, I cannot ask. But I need that information. So many questionnaires, schedules, they may be either blank or sometimes wrongly entered. All these things you have to do it, and that process, it is called as editing of data. How do you edit? There are two types of editing. Number one, field editing. Number two, central editing. You will be going to the fields. In the field itself, before coming to your home or university, on the same very day, the best part is to edit it by yourself. You go and meet people, you take interview, you take the questionnaire, fill up. Okay. Most of the time what happens, they will say they don't have time. So come tomorrow. The best part is to sit with him for 10-15 minutes and do the filling part by asking, by explaining. Otherwise, many of the respondents, they will say, keep the questionnaire, keep the schedule with me, I will fill it up, come tomorrow. And this tomorrow never comes. Most of the time, the questionnaire you have left with him, it will get lost. After 10 days also, you will find he is not there. He went to Delhi. Or he is not free. The best part, it is my experience, if he is not free today, okay, I will come tomorrow. You go and meet, if possible. The best part is to take information sitting with you. That is the best part. Otherwise, tomorrow never comes. Okay. In my PhD, I collected 106 samples from 2 districts. Every day I make it a point. My two-wheeler, I said 1 liter each day. And I make it a point that I collect at least 3 samples. My topic was on SSI, small scale industries, registered with DIC, District Industry Center. Okay, 2 districts. One was MPhil West District, another one was MPhil East District. So I make it just a point that I want to complete within 3 months. And I want to make sure that I collect 3. At least 3. 3 months, 19. That is the plan. So what happens, many a time I miss not one single sample completed. Sometimes I complete 2 or 3. But whomsoever I had given my questionnaire, they never fill it up. Many a time I think I need to take Xerox again and again because they get lost. You need a lot of persuasions. In my experience, unknown persons are very good. Known persons, they are very bad. And particularly the a little bit higher education one, they are very good. Once they know that you are from university, they will help you like anything. But rich people, as I said, my topic is on, most of the part my questions are related to money. So rich people, they, they don't want to give answers. But it is your responsibility to convince him first that you are a scholar. The moment they truly believe that you are from MZU or Assam University doing a PhD, then they will help you like anything. So the first thing, convincing him that you are a scholar, that is your responsibility. Okay. So field editing means editing the data at the very site, because that is good. In a sense, you recollect all what you have discussed with that respondent. Complete it. Editing, you cannot do it with him. Editing will be done alone, okay, but on the same very field. Another one is central editing. Central editing means you have collected data, you keep it, and then at the end of the collection of data, you sit and do editing all together. But that is, field editing. This sort of editing should be done as soon as possible, so that you remember everything. Okay. But in case of central editing, it is done maybe sometimes by the editor or some other big person in the office, but the person who went for data collection may not be there, because data collection, not necessary that you are doing it by alone. In case of PhD, you may be doing it by alone, but if it is a project work or something done by a company or office, it may also be done in the office level. That we call it as central editing. Then comes coding. Suppose you have collected data on income. Your income may be given in discrete numbers. Discrete means direct one number. Say for example, you will say your monthly income is 10,000. Another one may say 15,000. Another one may say 25,000. All these discrete numbers you cannot enter in the computer. You need some averaging. You need some grouping. Particularly in case of qualitative data, you cannot enter smiling, not smiling, angry. Some may be fat, some may be thin, some may be tall. These are all qualitative data. All these qualitative data, you have to code it. 1, thin, 2, fat. Income, below 10,000, 1. 10 to 20,000, 2. 20 to 30,000, 3. 30 to 40, 4. 40 and above, 5. Because in your system, in your computer, when you do the analysis, you cannot do those numbers, discrete numbers given. Okay, you have to do some coding. Like gender, 1 means female, 2 means male, 3 means like that, so and so. So this coding is very important. If you are wrong in the coding, then your results will also go nowhere. Okay, so data editing, next is coding. And there are also some questions which are open-ended and close-ended. For close-ended, it is easy. Yes or no, true or false. Tick. But if it is an open-ended, if I ask you, What is your opinion about Aizawl? Characteristics of Aizawl. How is your stay in MZU guest house? If I say, if I leave the answer blank, you will give so many narrations. Water is not coming, weather is good, no pain is required. So, close-ended as well as open-ended. Close-ended, the answers are 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but if it is open-ended, there also you have to club those answers. You have to group the answers and do the coding. Without coding, you cannot enter in the system and do the analysis. Coding is very important. How many of you doesn't know this coding, particularly entering in the... Before this, I need to tell you, you have to know at least one of the system for doing the analysis, whether it is Microsoft Excel. Excel also you can do it, or otherwise SPSS, eViews, and Jesta. Stata. Anyone. During my time, I used SPSS. I think SPSS is good because I know it. Little, if not the whole. Okay. Data you have to classify, because data you have collected, they are raw. You have to club them, classify them, okay, based on their characteristics, based on their similarities and dissimilarities, okay. Say for example, if we do a study on gender, then we classify male, female. Or if we do study a very particular question like marital status, married, unmarried, okay, divorce, like that. And then in case of a place, we can say urban, semi-urban, rural, okay. And in case of place also we can do, like for example, suppose like West Bengal, Bihar states. So accordingly, you have to classify your data depending upon the similarities and dissimilarities. Classification is very important, right? Why we need classification? Because data, if we just jumble up and put it in one slide, even for my presentation also, I prepared based on the similarities, like data, classification of data. It has to link with, otherwise I cannot jump from data to, you know, this interpretation. From data, I cannot do the predictions. Data, I have to analyze it, put it up in a tabular format or graphic format. Then only from the table also, without doing the, you know, narration, you can easily understand. Okay, so classification of data is very important. And what are the primary rules of classification? There should not be any ambiguity. Ambiguity means doubt. Okay. And they should have equal width or length. And then class limit, if it is in the group, suppose 0 to 10, it is inclusive or exclusive. 0 to 10. Then 10 to 20, it is okay. Otherwise, if I say 0 to 10, 11 to 20, then 10.5, why should I put? 10.5 is also there in decimal fraction. So best way is 0, 10, then 10 to 20, up to 10 I include. If anything is above 10, then I put in the 10 to 20. So there should not be any ambiguity, right? And then the classification must be suitable for the object of inquiry. I mean, somebody may ask also. So you have to give enough reason for having that very particular classification. Okay. There are 4 types of classification. Number 1, qualitative, not in the numbers. Okay. Another one is quantitative, in numbers. Temporal and spatial. Let us see. Qualitative, non-measurable characteristics, social status, gender, nationality, occupation. Okay. Say for example, deafness. Just for example, these are all qualitative classification. Then comes quantitative, data which can be measured, expressed in terms of numbers. For example, age, income, wage, price. Okay, and these quantitative classifications, they are, we can say they are the variables. Why it is called variable? Different. One person to another person. They are different. That is why variable means vary. One to another one. Your age and my age, it is not the same. Right, weight not the same. Okay. So what happened? These variables can be expressed in 2 ways. One is discrete variable, number, exactly, income. Okay, discrete, 20,000, 15,000. Okay, another one is continuous. Continuous means range. So in terms of timing, we can say morning, evening, afternoon. Duration 10 to 12, 12 to 3, something like that. Okay, it is continuous. Say for example, height. You maybe your height is 5.10, 5.7, but I cannot do the analysis using all your heights. The table will be so long if I put all the heights. So somewhere I have to put it in continuous range, like 4 to 5, 5 to 6, something like that, in the range. That type of variable, we call it as continuous. And if it is direct, one number, then we call it as discrete. What is temporal? It is classification, say for example, population of a country for several decades, based on time, several decades. Say for example, India's population study, census, 1951, 61, 71, 81, 2000, likewise. That type of continuous, okay, but based on time intervals. That type of study, I mean data, We call it as temporal classification. Right. Another one is spatial classification. It is related with spatial, means place. Place. Like population of different countries. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Based on space for places. Production of cereals in quintals in various states. Like Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, okay, related to places. This type of data tabulation means classification of data, we call it as spatial classification. Temporal means based on time, okay. And the most important one you will be coming across is the first two. Qualitative classification of data, and another one is quantitative classification of data. So data can be presented in four. Number one, textual, text. Say for example, if you read a newspaper, the front page, it is a text only, heading, and you write. One person died, this and that. That is a text representation, textual, using words. No table, no graph. It is represented through your texts. Okay. Another one is tabular presentation in the form of table. Tabulation means nothing. Representation of your data analysis in the form of tables. In table you find columns and rows. Okay. Another one is graphic presentation. Graphs, pie charts, histogram, graphs. Okay. Textual presentation. This is a text presentation during the Quinquennium 1935 to 39. They were in Great Britain. This is a text representation. Okay. Poisoning, 144 died due to anthrax. Anthrax is that gas, poisonous gas. It is related to Second World War, 1935 to 1939. Okay, this is the text representation. But if I have to show it in the, because it has a lot of disadvantages. It is too lengthy, repetition of words, comparison is very difficult, and it is very difficult to get an idea and take appropriate action. But if I show that textual presentation like this, it is the tabular presentation of the textual presentation, this one, during 1935 and during 35 to 39. This is the text presentation, but if I have to show it in the tabulation, because tabulation may be, it is a presentation, condensed form. Actually, it is a condensed form, concise and attractive, which can be easily understood and used to compare numerical figures. So I have shown it like this: 1935, 39, 40, 44. Lead poisoning. It is a comparison of between these two group of periods, 35 to 39 and 40 to 44. Okay. How disease lead poisoning, attacks, gassing and other poisoning. Comparison between two periods and number of cases, number of deaths and percentage of deaths. So that textual presentation, I club it and show it in the tabular format. Now it becomes easier to understand. Okay. So why we need tables? My supervisor used to tell me, don't write papers without any tables. If there is no data, there is no point of publishing a paper. But this thing may be not good in case of history. History, political science, they write papers, essay type. They don't have tables. But for me, my professor used to tell that if you don't have any tables, if you don't have any data, don't write papers. You will not be accepted. So why tabulation? It is concise, no repetition of explanatory matter. Comparison can be easily made, and important features are highlighted. Errors in the data can be detected, like in terms of total number of cases, total number of deaths. It can be easily detected where does the data is having problem. Comparison is easy and it is concise. So this is important in the sense that a good table should have some characteristics. A good table, what are the characteristics? Tables should be numbered. In your thesis, all tables should be numbered. Table number 1, 1.1. 1.1 means chapter 1, first table. Suppose you have a table in the 4th chapter. You will be having chapters in the thesis. 4th chapter, 7th table means 4.7. Suppose it is the 3rd chapter, 7th table, 3.7. So it should be properly numbered, and every table should have title. Without title, you don't have good table. Okay, number, title, date is also required. Date, suppose if you are going to make presentation, suppose you are collecting data from, suppose it is a secondary data, date in terms of year, that is also very important. And units, suppose you are giving units or rupees, that has to be very, mentioned. Heading and notes. Source also you need to keep down below. You need to keep the source of data. Is it a primary data? If it is primary data, we say field study. If it is a secondary data, you have to name the source of data. Suppose you are using it from population census. Say you will write source population census 2011. Okay. Suppose you are using it from statistical extract published by Government of Mizoram. Source statistical abstract 2022 Government of Mizoram, or otherwise Government of Assam. You have to keep the source. If it is a primary data, you don't say primary data, you say field study. You have done the field work, and then it is because from the field work you have undertaken. Okay. Sometimes if it is a large data, you may require not only one table, some more tables also. So these are the characteristics of a good tabular format. So important thing, number, title, source, and give notes if there is any necessary. If you miss, then the question will be asked, from where you have put the table? What is the source? What is the timing? What is the title? Number? These are small things, but very important when you write up the thesis. Graphic representation, I am not coming up with, you know that, graphs, pictorial graphs. Okay. So the main objective of using the tables are to carry out investigation, to do the comparison, okay, to locate omissions and error in data, to use space economically, to study the trend, to simplify data, to use it as future reference. Then, sorting out is also required. Sorting out. In case of editing, we have also done earlier what we were told, like when you go and collect data, we used to carry some vouchers. What is that? Punching type, small papers. We use it the drawing papers, small one. Nowadays it is very easy to go to internet and find, and then we used to keep small cards. There we used to write. Suppose you read a newspaper, then newspaper you don't have it at home. What you do, you write in a small piece of paper and write the title, the date, and you have to carry on the piece of that papers. Usually we used to do it with drawing papers, a very hard one, so that it doesn't get spoiled. Okay. Sorting out, it is done particularly when you are doing it with machines, with computers. It is the last process of tabulation. It is time-consuming process when the data is very large. Okay. It is done when data is very large. And it is done using electronic computers. How it is, when it is done, data very large, data have to be sorted out for future use, and the requirements of the table are changing. Yes, I am coming. 1 o'clock. Yeah. Now comes interpretation of data. Whatever data you have shown it in the form of tables, now you are going to interpret. Okay. Let us do the interpretation part. Why interpretation? Because whatever you are doing it, you have to tell. Interpret. Importance is informed data decision making, identifying the trends and anticipating demands, cost efficiency. Let us see some example. Data interpretation also there are two types. One qualitative, another one quantitative. I am coming up with one data. Just look at sales is given of a company. Sales in terms of rupees, thousands. January 150,000 means 1.5 lakh. These are the sales of 12 months. This is your data. Let us see. When you summarize data, interpret data, you have to see the biggest, the smallest, the minimum, the maximum. These are very important. I repeat, biggest, smallest, largest, minimum, maximum, minimum, coldest, warmest, average. You want to know what is the highest. So from this data, you may say which one is the highest.
260.
260. December is the highest. Which one is the lowest?
150.
150. That is in January. January 150, but December 260. Why? Like questions will come. So these things. Summarize the data. How do you say? Number one, sales are steadily increasing throughout the year, except for a slight dip in June. Sales are increasing. Is it increasing? 150, 160, 170, 180, 200, 190, 210, 220. It is increasing. except in
June.
what is that? Except in June. And then what is the peak month? December has the highest sales. And lowest sales was in January. As I said, no? You have to see the highest, the lowest, the biggest, the smallest, the coldest, the warmest, the hottest. Okay. So pattern you have to, then from the summarization we come to pattern. In pattern we can say seasonality and fluctuations we can say. In seasonality, sales seems to peak towards the end of the year, particularly in the last quarter. It may be because holidays were there, December, November, and fluctuations were there starting from May. Maybe because of reasons like possible slowdown during summer months, or otherwise a competitor's promotion, or otherwise seasonal effects. Then conclusion you draw. How do you draw? Sales are consistent throughout the year because it was successful marketing strategy. December was the highest effectiveness of the holiday seasons, and it may be June may be a little bit down. It has to be checked, investigated, and what may be the actions? We can think about, capitalizing the sales peak in December by planning promotions. Okay. For June, what we can do some launch mid-year sales, or otherwise diversification of product offerings. Okay. Summary. Data interpretation is about organizing patterns, trends, and anomalies in the data to extract insight. In this case, we identified a growing trend, seasonal pattern, and areas for improvement. This is the summary of the presentation of the table. The next steps could involve making decisions based on these insights, like improving sales strategies during slower months. This is the actionable summary. Thank you.